Welcome to the Big Picture Retirement Show, where you'll learn what it really takes to have a successful retirement. With over 20 years of experience, your host, Rick Rivera of Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, has seen it all and is here to help you achieve your retirement dreams. This is the Big Picture Retirement Show.
Welcome into the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. I'm Mark Elliott. Rick, of course, a partner at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, has over 20 years experience in the financial industry. You can always find out more about Rick and the team. That would be Reed and Eddie. Safeguardinvestment.com, safeguardinvestment.com. And if you have questions about where you are on that road to retirement, can I retire? Can we retire? Am I going to be okay? Are we going to be okay? Call the team. There's no cost to chat with them about any questions or concerns you have. It's 800-700-1980, 800-700-1980. Rick, Happy New Year. We're going to do a little New Year's resolutions right out of the gate here, but how Christmas and New Year's, all good for you? I know you did a pretty interesting medical thing where you went to Mexico for stem cell stuff for your shoulder and your back. We're going to find out by March if everything went really well, but so far, so good, huh?
Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, it's interesting. I spent my holidays getting stem cells done, and based on the technology and everything, I did a lot of research and kind of had to go out of the country for that. But got it done in my shoulders. Got it done. I had like 4 discs that needed to be hit with those stem cells because I have a herniated disc, and 2 other discs when I went there I found out are starting to bulge. So, so I got some new tissue growth going on, and let's see if, in about 3 months after physical therapy and just giving all the new tissue a chance to grow, hopefully I'll notice a big difference. And what I'm trying to do is, try to have the best quality of life as best as possible moving forward and mitigate potential surgeries down the road. So whatever I can do to mitigate that kind of stuff, I'm trying to get it done.
Yeah, we know the back is a tricky thing to deal with too. So this is an interesting way to go about it. Stem cells are a big thing in the last decade, and I know you've done a lot of research on this, and you actually have a doctor there in the area that you talked to stem cells. He's like, yeah, go to Mexico. They can do this more in depth than we are able to at this point, basically, from the FDA, I guess, right?
Yeah. There's just things that they're able to do there, whether other countries, Colombia and all the rest of it, that they just can't do here in the States. And the particular company I went to, they actually used to be here in California, but when the United States changed the law on some of the technology or whatever they were using, they had to go. A lot of these places had to go out of country to get it done. And the particular place I went to, they've been in business for well over a decade, treated thousands of patients. The technology has advanced to, from what they tell me, it's at least 10 to 15 years ahead of the U.S. And I know a lot of people that have gone there and had amazing results and were completely, where here they were told you have to have surgery, literally torn shoulders. They go there, get the stem cells, and of course, making sure that they recover properly. 6 months later, they have new MRIs and find out they no longer need surgery.
That's incredible.
And their shoulders are brand new. Yeah.
So you had to deal with a big, long syringe, but then after they did that, then I suppose it was tequila, right? That's your pain buffer? Have a little tequila.
That was on my prescription as my pain medication.
All right. So how about that for a New Year's resolution? Let's hope that the time spent in Mexico is going to be well worth it. That'd be a good resolution. Let's be healthy, huh?
Yeah, no kidding.
So do you do resolutions? I mean, a lot of people do. We know about 9% of Americans actually follow through with these resolutions. Usually by the end of January, they've moved on. Are you a resolution guy, or I know you're kind of a goal guy, a goal-driven person.
Yeah. I don't necessarily do resolutions, but yeah, I do goals, each year, and everything's about more about just discipline, and I think when it comes to no matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish, whether it's financially or physically or whatever you're trying to accomplish with these New Year's resolutions or goals, it's about discipline, and it's not about motivation, because unfortunately, when we set these goals, we're very motivated, but motivation is very short term, and sometimes getting up at 4:20 in the morning to go do a workout before your job, when that alarm clock goes off, you're not motivated. So it takes discipline to get you up out of bed. and I can use that same analogy on a variety of different things, whether it's just going to the gym, whether it's going, trying to get your financial affairs in order, whether it's, you want to buy a new home or start a new business, whatever it is. What really gets you to where you need to be is creating discipline, and also not biting off more than you can chew. Again, whether it's going to the gym. A lot of people are brand new. They want to hit it 5 days a week and hit it hard, and they burn themselves out too quickly. My own son, I had to tell him, he told me, oh, New Year's resolution, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I said, listen, you know what? Do yourself a favor. Start off just 3 days a week. See if you can do that. Once you do that, then add to it. This way you build up to it and you're less likely to fail, as opposed to going full bore, super hard, and then you burn yourself out. So I think that's a good way to approach things, and just realize it's going to take discipline rather than motivation to have you push through all of that.
Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. I think, no doubt about it. The discipline, you're motivated when you think about these kind of things. Oh, I need to be in better shape. I need to lose weight or whatever. I mean, that's I think a motivation. But at the end of the day, it's not the one cheeseburger that got you there. So it's not going to be, I'm not going to have a cheeseburger today. That's not going to let you lose all the weight you want. So it's kind of having those attainable goals. And, when you think about your financial future, a great time to think maybe about financial goals that you would like to accomplish this year. If you'd like to sit down with Rick and the team at Safeguard Investment Advisor Group and talk about those, what do you think? I'm going to retire in 5 years. I'm going to retire at the end of this year. I'm going to retire in 10 years. Well, let's get started putting a plan together, because that's really important. 800-700-1980 is the number. There's no cost. You can ask Rick and the team anything you'd like to, concerns you have, hopes and dreams. You think we can do this? 800-700-1980 would be a great way to get some clarity into that retirement picture. So you think about that. Most resolutions, Rick, are about physical, right? Better shape, lose some weight, that kind of thing. Financial, this is always a good time, I think, to maybe kind of reassess where we are, especially if we're getting closer to retirement. Are we on the right track? Do we need to do a little something different? We don't really know, because we're just kind of winging it the whole time. Where are you on the maybe thinking about New Year's resolutions as it pertains to financial side of things?
Yeah, I think, it's funny that you bring it up, New Year's resolutions and financial side of things, because I think a lot of people, let's say, want to address it, whether it's a retirement planning, investment plan, whatever it is, and they keep procrastinating. And you got to say, okay, well, why is that? Because maybe it seems overwhelming. They're like, oh my gosh, where do I start? I don't even know where to start. I don't have a budget. I don't understand investments that well. How much should I contribute to my 401k? And, and then they have all these questions. So they never really get to it, because they don't know where to even start. So I think that for those people that actually want to start, again, just like I was saying earlier, when it comes to physical exercise, you want to start off small. Bite off small pieces, and then you can get bigger and bigger, and attack it small chunk at a time. But here's the advantage that you have, is that rather than doing it by yourself, or going to the gym by yourself and seeing all these machines everywhere, and you're like, well, which machine should I start on? What body part should I work? Well, just like you can hire a trainer to kind of, figure out what your goals and your objectives are, health-wise, and they can say, okay, let me write out a program in the morning. Here's these specific machines you want to use. Here's how many reps. Here's what you need to do. And they create a program for you. Well, you can do the same thing with your finances, with your investment planning, your retirement. You can come see somebody that specializes in that area, and they can guide you and help you and hold your hand. And it costs you nothing to do, to at least get the advice, get the suggestions, and then kind of lead you, in a specific direction, so it doesn't feel as overwhelming. And then if you decide you want to use that individual, great. If you don't, that's fine. But I think just kind of like how you go to the gym and you can hire a trainer and they can point you in the right direction, so that way everything doesn't look so overwhelming. You can do the same thing when it comes to your finances. You actually have the ability to walk into an office, especially with us, and sit down with us and say, hey, listen, here's my stuff, and we're so used to doing this every day. We know what questions to ask. We know what to, what information we need in order to help you, so we can guide you, hold your hand, and put you at least in a position where you're much more confident, or at least give you, baby steps to work on, and then we can progress from there. So if you can actually be in a position where you can have a coach help you, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like having that accountability partner. Hey, I'm gonna do an Ironman in 6 months. I need a partner. Who else wants to do it with me? Because now you have an accountability partner. Somebody's going to get you out of bed to go do whatever you need to do. And in the financial world, why not sit down with the team, especially when you're thinking retirement? That's a big deal. That's a 20, 30-year type commitment. That's really becomes your business is retirement. How do I make sure my money lasts as long as we need it to? And that's where Safeguard Investment Advisory Group kind of walks in as your accountability partner. Rick's not going to tell you, no, you can't do this, you can't buy that, and so forth. It's like, all right, let's think about this logically. What puts you in a better position? Do we buy the car this year? Do we wait 2 years? Can we take that trip to Hawaii? Should we wait? Can we do it now? But at least you're making educated decisions about your money that needs to last for a long time in retirement. Hopefully, you're healthy and have a great retirement, but this really starts with a plan. And so the team at the Safeguard Investment Advisory Group can put together the big picture blueprint, and it's income, it's investments, it's taxes, it's healthcare, it's legacy planning, Social Security, Medicare decisions. It's all in there. If you'd like to have a conversation with Rick and the team at Safeguard, just give them a call. There's no cost. I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of this. 800-700-1980. 800-700-1980. 1980. A lot going on in the tax world in 2025. We're going to touch on that when we come back on the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera of Safeguard Investment Advisory Group. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. For more information about Rick and the Safeguard Investment Advisory Group team, go to safeguardinvestment.com. While you're there, you can also download educational retirement guides and sign up for an upcoming seminar. That's safeguardinvestment.com. Now, back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the Big Picture Retirement Show with Rick Rivera. I'm Mark Elliott. Rick, a partner at Safeguard Investment Advisory Group. You can find out more on the website, safeguardinvestment.com. You can always give them a call with questions. Boy, should I be investing different in a Trump presidency? Is it different? How do I do that? How do I maybe make some changes? I'm going to retire in 3 years. I'm not sure I've got enough. What should I be doing? 800-700-1980 is the number to chat with Rick and the team. There is no cost. This is totally complimentary. I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of this and get some insight into your situation. 800-700-1980. We're going to touch on taxes in this segment. A lot going on in the tax world. This is going to be an interesting year, I think, for taxes. We know the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that Trump put into place in his first time around as president, and he had said during the election and all that kind of stuff going on, he's going to continue that. Well, we know that Congress is the one that gives the yay or nay to that. He can say what he wants, but Congress has to approve it. He does have the Republican Congress on his side, so you'd think he could do it. But that sunsets, that 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, Rick, sunsets at the end of this year. What are you expecting? I would imagine a pretty interesting tax conversation year in Congress.
Yeah, we've been talking to our clients about this, and quite frankly, we've been talking to them about this for years, and we've been prepping for it because there's so many unknown variables. I mean, we had no idea, who the new administration was going to be years ago, but we did know, hey, there is a sunset clause, and if Congress does nothing, and knowing how well, all these guys get along, chances are that, tax rates may go up. So we have to prep for that. I think the scenario here is that now going forward, there's a good chance that, now that, the Republicans have the House and the Senate and Trump's in office, then maybe there's a good chance that they can get some things done and maybe extend some of those tax cuts for, the individuals and reduce taxes. I think they're even talking about even eliminating taxes on Social Security, which would be fantastic. But ultimately, the scenario here and the bigger picture, in my opinion, is this. How does all this affect the individual? If these things occur, great, wonderful. If tax rates go down for you individually and you end up with more money in your pocket, super. So I think the bigger picture here is we always need to plan for the worst case scenario. We always need to make sure that what if for some reason they don't get the tax rates lowered? What if some reason tax rates actually end up getting higher for whatever reason? Maybe they lower tax rates and now, on the other hand, inflation increases. So what we have to do is we always have to play the cards that we're dealt. We know what we're dealing with. What we do is we plan for the worst case scenario. We make sure that regardless of what happens in the economy, tax wise, investment wise, globally, whatever, that you're in a position that you can't get hurt. And that's the big thing. So, quick example, you might say, well, Rick, what do you mean by that? Well, years ago, prior to where we're at right now, we were doing Roth conversions, saying, hey, listen, you know what? We don't know if tax rates are going to change 4 years from now or 5 years from now. If they do, great. If they don't, let's put ourselves in a position where now we can maybe do some Roth conversions and have our money grow for us tax-free. So that way, down the road, if they do change rates on us, we're like, fine, do what you got to do. I got a book of money here that's tax-free. If they lower rates, great, that's fine too. But bottom line, the rest of this money here is growing tax-free for the rest of my life. I can move this money to my children tax-free. Oh, when you're drawing money out of your investments, what strategy are you using? Are you using tax cost harvesting strategies that you can use whether tax rates are high or low or whatever situation they're in? So there's a lot of areas that we can go into that can help maximize what it is that you're doing, regardless of what the government gives us or doesn't give us. We don't want to rely on them. If they give us a gimme, great, we'll take it. But let's not be so tied up on what they might or might not do. Let's focus on the things that we can control. And again, if they give us a gimme, we'll take it and run with it and expand. But we got to plan for the worst case scenario. And let's make sure all the areas of your overall planning are working in conjunction. Because what good is it for them to save you money in taxes in one area? Or let's just say they take away the taxation on Social Security, but your investment planning is not done correctly. So the money you're saving over here on that they're saving you on Social Security, they're getting back on the other side because your investments are not structured properly, or your pension is not structured properly, or your RMDs are not being structured in the right way. So you're making it on one and losing it on the other hand. So it's more of a big picture approach we have to apply.
Yeah, it makes sense because there is no doubt we don't want to base our retirement on what Washington and Wall Street do, but obviously we need to know what they're doing because it can affect us. What was it, Reagan that said, I'm here with the government here. I'm with the government. I'm here to help. And people are like, yeah, not exactly. So you think about it, that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, when it expires at the end of the year, if it stays the way it is right now, your taxes would go up 20, 30% because it's going back to the 2016 and 17 rates before this went into play in 2018. So it is interesting, but there is no doubt. Maybe this is going to give you a window to do Roth conversions a little bit longer with this good tax brackets for us. If you want to talk with Rick and the team about it at Safeguard, it's 800-700-1980, 800-700-1980. The other part of that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017 was a corporate tax. Now, for families and individuals, there was the sunset, which is at the end of this year. Corporate taxes went from 35 down to 21% with no sunset provision. Trump has said he wants to go from 21 to 15 corporate tax, but we are $36 trillion in debt as a nation, and the corporations tax-wise aren't going to get us out of this debt that we're in. But to me, if he knocks it down from 21 to 15, because if they go, whenever you raise taxes corporations, we end up paying for it. The corporation doesn't. They just raise their prices. How do you see the corporate tax? Would it be beneficial to go from 21 to 15? Would it spur more economy? I don't know. What do you think of that?
Well, I think the thought process behind that is that it makes the U.S. more competitive. So if you have corporations all over the world and they have a chance to do business in different countries, if Europe is offering 15 and we're charging 21, guess where they're going to do their business? Yeah. Where they're paying 15. And when you have a corporation that, multi-billions of dollars, you know what? We have to be competitive. There is no free lunch. So that, on one side of the token, you say, hey, listen, you know what? If they reduce the taxes on corporations to 15%, and now they have companies opening up factories, bringing industry here in the U.S. because now we're actually competitive or more competitive than other countries. That's bringing in jobs. That's bringing in more infrastructure. And there's a rationale for it. So there's two sides of the coin that you have to look at. And what I can tell you, and anybody that's listening to the show, if you ever want to read a good book, because most of these politicians and all these sound bites that you're getting in the news, a lot of these people don't even understand economics. And if you ever want to really truly do some research and get some good information that's nonpartisan information, in my opinion, that really just breaks out the facts. There's a book by Thomas Sowell. It's called Basic Economics, and he puts it in plain English from cover to cover, and talks about everything from, like we were just discussing today, corporate taxes being lower, to rent control, to a variety of different things that the government tries to do. And he breaks out the statistics on, what is fact and what is just, basically somebody just trying to promote something to get in office, for the next election. So I think that if they reduced, and people even talking about the tariffs, so again, all this is designed to make us more competitive, and we have to look at things from both sides of the equation. I think by reducing taxes for the corporations, if that makes us more competitive, great. If it turns out that it doesn't, well, then I guess they can always raise taxes again. But I don't think it'll be a bad thing personally.
So it is interesting. It's going to be a very interesting 2025 with Trump coming back in. We'll see how it all plays out. There's no doubt. At the end of the day, I don't think we want to rely on Washington or Wall Street to do what is always in our best case scenario. So it's about you having a plan. Rick and the team at Safeguard here to help. Rick, always a pleasure. Good luck with the shoulder and the back, all the stuff you've been doing. I hope for the best, but I'll let you wrap it up.
Yeah, no, if anybody, wants the opportunity to come down and sit with me directly, feel free, give us a call. There's no cost or obligation. I'll be happy to give you, an hour of my time, and maybe you can hit your New Year's resolution. And if you come in, give me an hour of your time, I guarantee I'll give you 2 ideas that'll enhance whatever it is that you're doing. Again, just call us 800-700-1980. Again, the toll-free number is 800-700-1980.
Firm offers insurance services. Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC is a registered investment advisory firm. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Safeguard Investment Advisory Group, LLC.